Just packing the last few things before hitting the road on a trip. Well, if you hadn't guessed, it's road trip time again. And for once, it's not up to the high country. I'm off to a new location this week. A new location for me anyway. I'm heading down to the Otways National Park, down the Great Ocean Road. It's about 3.5 hours west for me from home. So I'm kind of excited to get down there and have an explore and see what I can find around the area. Now, there's a few key locations that I'll visit just for a look, because they are quite popular spots down there, but I'm really excited just to drive through the region and have a look and see what I can find as far as different compositions go. Now, the Otways National Park is an absolutely beautiful spot. It's where bushland and lush green foliage meets the ocean, meets the Southern Ocean. It looks absolutely stunning. And the benefit of it as well is an hour up the road I have the 12 Apostles. So I will be heading up there as well at some stage. I'm spending 2 nights in the region, so I'll have about 2.5 days worth of photography. So as I said, I'm kind of excited to get down there and have a look around. I'm just going to keep this driving up. I've still got another couple of hours to go. Well, I've just arrived at the first destination, Hopetoun Falls. Now, it's one of those, I suppose you'd say, iconic waterfalls from within the Otways region. Yeah, from what I've read, it's not too much of a walk down to the waterfalls, which is a good thing because I've arrived probably, what's the time now? Just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so sort of late afternoon. Now, the plan for the day is to get some photos here, just to have a look around, see what it's like, and yeah, just try and get a nice image of this waterfall. It's a beautiful spot from all the images I've seen of the location. Now, after here, I will be heading south down to the coast to the Cape Otways Lighthouse for sunset this evening. Now, at the moment, there's a lot of cloud cover, which I'm hoping blows away by the time I get down there and we get a nice sunset. If not, it'll probably be a moodier image than I was hoping. But look, I'm just going to grab all the gear out and get walking down to these falls. Absolutely beautiful walk through here. Very green, lush foliage everywhere. The ground's very damp. It's very humid in here, just because it's so low down. And there's the falls. Well, it's a slippery old walk around the waterfalls. Every step needs to be perfectly calculated to avoid camera damage. Oh, I love spots like this. That's a challenge. The falls are big and sending up a lot of mist at the moment, which is going to provide a little bit of a challenge as far as keeping the filters clean, but this looks absolutely stunning. Now, I think I know where I want to set up. It's going to be slippery, so let's see how I go. I've got to get into a rock in the middle of the river. So what I'll be using is the flow from the river as a leading line into the waterfall. But to get that, I would need to be positioned in the middle of the river. So let's clamber over there. Well, it's, as I said, very slippery out here.
Well, I've got the composition set up at the moment. I am standing on the rock exactly where I wanted to get to, in the middle of the creek. Now, from the live view on the monitor, it's looking absolutely stunning. Now, I am running a ISO of 100, f11 at 1.3 second exposure at the moment. That's about right. Let me just run this 2-second timer. Just focused about 1/3 into the frame. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's nice. That's a good amount of water flow. The greens are so lush. And everything from the first rock in the frame, the moss on it, all the way to the back is absolutely perfect. I've just found another composition I quite like. I've had to get out from the middle of the creek and come up onto the banks. But what I'm using as a point of interest now is there's a nice green fern a couple metres in front of the camera, just to the left of the frame. The waterfall's behind that, with the creek running out towards the bottom right of the frame. It's quite nice, and I'm pulling in a lot more colour because of that fern in the foreground. Now, what I'm running this time is, I forgot to mention in the previous one, I'm running a circular polarizer just to take a lot of glare off these rocks because they are very damp. So I'm still running the polarizer at the moment. I'm also running a 3-stop soft edge Grad ND. That's just controlling the brightness up the top left of the frame, because it's quite bright, because that's where the sun is coming down from. The cliff is quite bright compared to the rest of the frame in the creek. So I'm running that on about a 45-degree angle just to control that highlighting. What I've done is bump the ISO up to 200 to keep the shutter speed to 1 second. Now, the reason for that is at 1 second I'm getting plenty of water flow, but it's just keeping the blur from the fern to a minimum, because the fern just in front of the camera is blowing around a little bit with the air movement down here. So I'm just going to run the 2-second timer again. I tell you what, it's actually a 5-second timer. Oh, I don't know why. We'll just wait a couple more seconds. Here we go. Now let's check this. Yeah, again, that is absolutely stunning. Those greens are so beautiful. Now, as I said, I've never actually driven through this area, and it is absolutely beautiful. Massive trees, plenty of lush green ferns everywhere. The foliage is just so thick on each side of the road. The roads are windy, nice bit of challenging dirt roads in there. Just it's absolutely beautiful drive through here. Now, we're about 15 minutes from the lighthouse now. Just winding through the last of the Great Ocean Road before we turn off and head south towards the lighthouse. Now, getting a little bit of rain at the moment. I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern, because at the same time I can see a nice bit of orange glow happening on the horizon over to the west. So hopefully there's a break in the cloud cover, which I was hoping for, and we might get a nice bit of colour during sunset. Get to the lighthouse. It's looking like it's going to be an absolutely stunning sunset, and it closes at 5 o'clock. I'm here about 20 past 5, so there's no actual access into the light or towards the lighthouse. You think I would have checked these things first. But I've just spoken to one of the blokes that works here, and he's advised there's a path that goes around, goes towards the cliff edge, and it gives a view of the lighthouse from a distance, which is good because it'll be facing west. So if it is a good sunset, I will be getting a fair bit of light, some good colour. So I'm just going to start the walk now and see how we go. Not having much luck. I'm only a couple minutes from the start of the track, and in the rush to try and get to the lookout point, I forgot the darn tripod. Back we go, grab the tripod, then hike on back down. I don't even know what I'm doing here. went 5 minutes up the path that the bloke told me to that works here, and I couldn't find a spot that even got remotely close to seeing the lighthouse. So I've run back to the car park and I've headed off the opposite direction to see what I can find. You can see the colours in the sky, they're looking absolutely fantastic, and we're still 25 minutes out from sunset. I've got a strange feeling it's going to look absolutely awesome, but I've got to find a spot. I'm absolutely knackered, but I'll pick up the pace and see what I can find. We've even got an awesome rainbow happening because we just got a little bit of drizzle then, but I still don't have a composition here. I'm just going down like a vehicle access track, and
well, I kind of walked away from that sunset shoot without an image, but that's not to worry. That just highlighted one of my flaws, which I've talked about in the past, and that is to slow down a bit when I get to these shoots and arrive early and just try and soak up the atmosphere rather than trying to rush and get an image. Now, I had a certain composition in mind of the lighthouse, and because the gates were shut, I couldn't get in. I couldn't get that one composition, so I was madly rushing around for something that was similar, something that in my mind would I was just after a certain type of photo, showcasing the lighthouse, etc. And when the sky lit up, I was just very disappointed and frantically looking for something, and I couldn't find it. What I could have done in hindsight is used one of the paths as a leading line into the gorgeous red clouds, and especially that double rainbow. But look, it doesn't matter. Another lesson learned: don't rush. Yeah, it's the same lesson I learn over and over again. One day I might learn it. So yeah, I've crawled into bed for the night, just in preparation for sunrise in the morning. I'm at the 12 Apostles at the moment. I did head out before I got into bed, just for a shot of the moon above the 12 Apostles. So I won't know how that comes out until I get home and check the image. It looks alright on the back of the camera, but I just want to make sure that it's sharp and there's enough detail in it. So until tomorrow, I'm going to get some sleep right now, and look, fingers crossed I can get an image in the morning, assuming not too much fog rolls over, which is predicted, unfortunately. But we'll work with what we've got. So anyway, I'll catch you later.